All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hands-On HubSpot with Paragon. We're excited to have you here. I'm showing the room right now. We have a few visitors with us in person. And for those of you online, welcome. We're glad to have you. As part of today's discussion, we're going to talk to you about the newest updates that have just come out in the last month. So things that have come out earlier this year may already be out. You may see some things and have questions about it. This is a little bit of an open forum. So those of you who are here, if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. Somebody will get my attention. We'll stop and we'll talk about it. We have an hour and a half slated for this, so we should be able to cover a lot of content. There are a lot of updates. They may or may not apply to you, but they should be things that you might be able to use down the road or currently. And then just to kind of do a little bit of a mic check, can anybody that's online just quickly give a thumbs up that they can hear us okay? Just want to make sure that we're not losing out on our, there we go, Kyle. Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it. Okay, I am now going to just give you guys a little bit of background about us. We're Paragon. We're based here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we've been in business for about 5 years now. And we are actually Utah's #1 HubSpot partner. We're actually probably the #1 HubSpot partner in the region, which we are really grateful for. It just sounds good. Our reputation precedes us, basically, which we're grateful for. Have a wonderful team. They're here in the room. I'm going to go ahead and change the video over to me, not because I'm arrogant, but because it probably makes more sense that you see my face as we do this. So we get over to the FaceTime HD camera. All right, there we go. Hey, everybody, I'm Davey. So a couple of things about us that we do. We're a Diamond Solution Partner. That shows a lot of people that we've got the skills to be able to implement HubSpot. We actually consider ourselves architects here. We have certifications in custom integration. We also have certifications across the board in several things in HubSpot, but what we're really good at is putting the CRM together. We can help you with integrations, migrations, implementation, or anything advanced that you're trying to do within the system. So grateful to have you guys. And if you're interested in more information, Alyssa can pop in a link to Matthew's meeting if you guys want to book time with him and want to talk more about our services. So there's our little plug for the day. Okay, so here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to I'm going to how to find current updates. I doubled my words there, it looks like. I'm going to show you guys how to find current updates as we jump into the system. Then I'm actually going to get hands-on with you all. I'm going to walk through updates in HubSpot one by one. And I'm going to show you where they're at, and I'm going to show you what they do, and I'm going to help you understand why you care, which is probably an important part. And then I don't know if you all know this, but we actually have our own app, and our app actually allows you, it's a Chrome extension that gives you more capability in HubSpot to create your own navigation, to go quickly to the items or the objects, especially custom objects if you have enterprise that you need to get to. So we're going to allow everybody, we're going to give you guys a promo code today where everybody will be able to use it for free for a month and connect it. And then it is the low price of what now, Josh?
$2.99 a month.
$2.99 a month. It's a pretty cheap app. So if you like it or for your teams, come and talk to us. We can look at some other group discounts. So, and then inbound updates, talk to you guys about inbound that's coming up. And then also we have some tickets. Not that I'm giving them away, but we have them available. So if you're looking for some, let us know. Maybe by the end of this, you'll want to participate. So, all right, let's get into current updates. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this, and we're going to jump right over to HubSpot. I'm actually going to just open up a new tab. We'll expand this, close some stuff out. It's not necessary. All right. Things looking good. Josh's on the other side of me. He's making sure that my screen looks okay to you folks. All right. So I'm going to go to a test portal that I've got here. For those of you who don't know, if you're always wondering about what are the updates in HubSpot and where to find them, the best place to find updates is actually directly in HubSpot. So if you go to the upper right-hand corner where you typically find your picture, click on the drop down, you will see product updates. there's actually a couple of key aspects on this page that I want to introduce you to. One is, the first is all the tools that are new. So this actually tells you what's new. And if you click into the read more, it'll pop out and tell you, what is it? Why does it matter? How does it work? Who gets it? Is probably the most important thing. So the question is, does it apply to you? Okay. And everybody has access to this. You also have early access to betas. So there are things that are out there. For example, if you have sequences, there's a beta right now. It looks like it's public. Some are private. I think I've got a private one in here somewhere. But some are private. So if it says public, you can join that beta. So I can just click join. It asks me if I want to do it for the entire org. Of course I do. I want everybody to participate, and I can join in this beta. Now, if I refresh and I go in, my sequences tool will now have this new beta. We're not talking about betas today. Those are not new features. These are only things that are being tested. But this is a great way for you to go and try out new features that HubSpot has. Join all of these. This is a test org, so we have some that are joined and some that aren't. But there's a ton in here. So you may find something you're like, oh my gosh, I want more with the WhatsApp integration or email form assignment availability. This is where you can find most of your updates. Do we have any questions about this? All right, let's jump over then to our next item. We're gonna get close out of this. We're gonna come over here. So we're gonna talk about the first update that we're going to, oh, Kyle raised his hand. Kyle, you gotta, let's,
His hand was raised.
was it already raised?
Yeah, because he
Okay.
can't hear us.
Kyle, did you have another question? Raise your hand again. No, we'll continue on. Okay. You got it? You have them turn them on? Oh, all right, I'll do it. Hold on, Kyle. All right, Kyle, you're live and in person if you want.
Sweet. So my question is, I actually been waiting for that A/B testing for sequences, or hoping that you had it, because I had something else before that did something like that. If I start doing that, we're actually about to launch a campaign, and A/B testing will be very important for that. Is there, being that it's beta, if they pull that and go, yeah, we decided not to move forward or something like that, what will that happen to this if I'm like midway through, a campaign or sequences like that?
Usually by the time it gets to a public beta such as this, it means that they're going to fully roll it out. We usually don't. There's only a couple of times we've ever seen a public beta get rolled back. Usually it's something like, if they roll this out because it has data associated with it for like reports, they probably will not be rolling it back unless there's a major error in it. They've already gone through an initial alpha and a private beta. So by the time it gets to you in this public beta, the chances of it not moving forward is pretty slim. So you'll be safe. Does that help you? Kyle, I don't know if you're muted.
He said,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, awesome.
Oh yeah, I am on. Okay, great. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, man. That was a great question. All right. Let's jump back over then to our first item on my list, which is, this is kind of interesting. It's actually about rounding. So what this does is you can now create you can create a property, a calculated property. I'm going to go out just because I want to walk people through how to actually get to a calculated property. So when you're in your settings, so you click on the cog up here in the upper right, and you come down to your properties, you'll be able to see this view. So I can choose which property object. So I'm in the contact property object. And within the property contact object, I would create a property. I need to put a group to it. So we'll just put it as contact information. It's a contact property. We have business units. You may not have this tab if you don't have a business unit. And then we're going to give it a label. So we're going to say, round my property. And we can put some description to it. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And then the field type that I'm going to select is calculation. I'm going to build my calculation now. And in building that calculation, I have some options here on the calculated property type. One of those items, well, three of the items now, is to round down, round up, or round to the nearest. So if I choose to round down only, or round up, then I can choose it's a formatted number, and then I get to choose which property I'm doing that for. So let's say I had this happens sometimes. You run a calculated property, it gives you a number, or maybe you get a number from an integration and it's like 48.65, 3.146. What's the pi? I'm sure Josh could go like 20 digits into it. But you get like 20 digits in and you're like, look, I just need it to the nearest penny or the nearest dollar. Then you can come in and choose that property that's in here and then choose how many decimals you want. So if I want 0 because I want it to the nearest dollar, it's fine, but I can go 2 decimals out. And now I can create this, and that property now will take this calculated property, or let's just choose like a days to close or whatever, and it's going to round it 2 decimals. And I can create it, and then I'll have that rounding property in my system. Okay, that is rounded properties. That's all I have for it. It's kind of a simple one. Any questions from anybody? Anybody raising their hand? Okay, all right. Let's jump to our next item, which is, anybody know how to get rid of the top bar and make it go up?
Drag it down.
Just drag it all the way down. All right. Okay, so our next item is global search nodes. So this is kind of interesting. What it allows you to do is that before, when you write a note, by the way, this is only for a global search. By the way, we'll send out a document too about where some of these are available. If you don't have custom objects, then anything we talk about with custom objects will not work in here. And most of the data information usually requires Operations Hub, just to kind of clarify. But we'll send out documentation as to whether or not this is available in your system. Technically, if you're testing it, you'll see if it's doing it, then you probably have it. If it's not doing it, then you probably don't have it. So, but when you write a note in a standard object, so a contact, company, deal, or ticket, it now will take the content that's within a note and it will now show up for global search. Let me clarify on that if you do it in a custom object with the note, the AI will not be able to parse the note information. So I can put in here test note from Davey, and I'm going to save this note. You'll notice I already have another note in here. It says capability was to search within notes. And just for fun, I'm going to go out back to contacts, and I'm going to go up to the global search up here to the right. And I'm going to type in capability because that was one of the words that was in there. And you'll notice my note in Eleanor Shellstrop that this is a note that shows the capability of the search within notes. Wow, it's like it knows what I'm doing. So now I can find notes and where they're at. I can click into it and it will take me to the record that it was listed in, that it was showing in. And it's even filtered down to that specific note. Kind of a cool feature from a global search standpoint. There is another global search upgrade, but HubSpot is constantly trying to improve this search capability for properties, for notes, for activities, to be able to pull information in. So if you're searching for anything, a lot of people don't know that this is a global search, and it's pretty powerful what it can do. All right, any questions on the global search? We'll move on to the next thing. Audit logs. This is kind of a simple update, but I think it's important. HubSpot allows for you in your settings. So again, going to settings and now going down to your audit logs, which is under data management. You'll see that it's marked as new because it is new. It shows an audit log. So it actually audits what's been going on in the system for specific items. And if I click on it, it now has, it used to just have the log. Now it gives more meta description data of like when it happened, which account, what did it do? And you can even go find more information about it. Pretty simple update, but powerful if you're trying to keep for compliance or security or updates that have occurred in your system. You're trying to find out who, when, why. Okay, any questions on the audit tool? Go ahead and raise your hand and we'll talk about it more. All right, let's talk about the OR functionality. So HubSpot in the past, when you do filters, they released this out to contacts, but they've now released it out to a number of other marketing pieces too. So one that I'm going to show is actually workflows, but it works for campaigns as well. And what it is because HubSpot moved out and had their views that they've constantly had. In your filters now, you can use an OR feature. So I can say that this was created by Josh, apply the filter, or by, created by Davey. apply that filter. And what I'm getting here now is I can look at all my workflows that were created by me or Josh. This is powerful because before, if you did a filter for this, you just be able to find everything created by Josh. And then you have to go create another one that says everything created by Davey. You might have to put them into different views. And now I can go look for both at the same time. And so if you're trying to do some audits or cleanup of any of your marketing content, your list, your campaigns, and again, on your standard objects, the OR functionality will allow you to parse that out, and you can create other criteria with it. So it was created by Davey, and it was a maybe the object type is a contact. So I want everything done by Josh and everything done by Davey, that's a contact type. And if I could do another, or if I could clone this and say, and remove that contact type and add a different contact type. So, okay. Questions about the OR function or how filters work in general? All right, we'll move along. We're doing good. All right, let's talk about milestone pipeline settings. Okay, so this is an enterprise scenario. It's for custom objects. So within the settings tab, there's a new feature that allows you to do conditional stage properties. This is actually nothing new within HubSpot, but it's new for custom objects. So previously on deals, on sales deals, between each stage, you could tell HubSpot, hey, before somebody can move from this stage to the next stage, I want them to fill out this property. So maybe they needed to collect information or check a box or fill something in, and you'd have this conditional stage property. Well, now that's come down to custom objects. Why is this important? Because you can build a custom object such as maybe you have an onboarding plan. So maybe after something is closed, it goes and creates an onboarding record, and maybe you have an object called onboarding. This one's called milestones. We deal with projects, but maybe it's an onboarding, and in onboarding, you have onboarding stages. And in those stages, you say, look, before you can move from the open stage to the closed stage, I want certain properties to get filled out. I want the due date and the business units to be filled out, and I can make it required before they change. We're going to that stage. Let's do it actually on this one, and I'll show you where that actually takes apart, and we'll make it required. So I'm gonna go ahead and next. So that saves it here. And then I'm actually I need to save the whole thing. And then I'm actually gonna go to my milestone object. So I'm gonna go to my custom objects, go to my milestones, and I'm gonna open up my, oh, I've got to get one of these in a stage. I just set this up there. So refresh. One little milestone, where are you? All my milestones disappeared. All pipelines, there we go. All right, so I'm going to now, I need to add this into the milestone pipeline stage of open. I'm going to save that. And you'll notice that when I put it in that stage, those two fields that I selected pop up, because in order to move it to this spot, I actually have to fill these out before it will move to it. And now that I do that, it allows me to stay in that stage. And if I want to go to the next stage, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Is it because I already filled it out? Oh, there we go. Now it pops up and it says, hey, you've already filled this out. So as you're moving from stage to stage, it now can pop those specific fields that you want as part of it. Questions about record, this conditional custom setup? Okay. Any other specific questions? All right. Let's jump over here. Oh, this will be fun. All right. So HubSpot's got a new tool that allows for import cleanup. So basically, if I go back, we'll just do a little test import. When I do an import in HubSpot, which you can find from the contact record or from settings or whatnot, and I choose, I'm just going to import a single file into one object. And if this is going too fast for anybody, let me know. I wasn't really going to go into how to do an import. I just want to give the outcome, the new features, the outcome of the import. So I'm going to pick contacts. But I'm more than willing to go back through and explain anything that has to do with imports. got a little example file here. And that example file is for contacts. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit next. And cool. So it's got my stuff that's in there. It shows it has a little bit of an error, but I don't care. I'm gonna go ahead and import it anyways, because I can. So HubSpot now, even if you have some error on items, it will let you import. And what's new is this right here, clean up imported data. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to break the system. So I actually tried to go make some data look really crappy, but I couldn't. But what it does is it actually will pull up the formatting issues that you have here with either the name or the email and allow you to fix them after your import. So if you have some dirty data, you can come in here and fix it. I think this is available to all, actually. I think you all the way down to even like the free version, which is kind of cool. So, all right.
We used it a lot.
Oh, you did use the new formatting? That's awesome. Okay. Let's go to duplicates. Oh, this is awesome. Okay. So if you have operations, so first off, for normal users, I think it's only at the pro level. If you go to data quality and you go see your duplicates, so I can see my total duplicates here. I'm going to view all of them. One of the cool things is that it used to go up to 2,000 duplicates. So what would happen is, like, let's say you had 10,000 records in your system, and it found that 2,500 of them were duplicates. It would only show you the first 2,000. Now, because of an update, it will go up to 5,000 records at a time. Why this is important is because if you have Operations Hub with your system, you can now do mass review of these and merge them together. So if you found that maybe a file you imported and you're like, oh shoot, those guys already existed, I just duplicated it, you could probably find them all here, click on the button, hit review, and just merge all of them together. This allows for some really great mass merging, especially now that there's 5,000. The other thing is that HubSpot now scans for duplicates every day. It used to do it every 15 days, but because of new AI technology, they're doing it every day, looking for the different duplicates within the system. And so you're able to now get updates. So if you clear out those 2,000, then tomorrow, if you have another 1,500 in the system, it will actually bring those other 1,500 out for you to be able to dedupe. So now you can quickly dedupe and not have to wait another 15 days to find out which ones are broken. So. All right. Goals. So goals is in a new place. There used to be kind of like forecasting goals that you could do underneath the system, but now you can go to just general goals under reporting, because you can set up a variety of goals. So goals is under reporting. You can hit create a goal. And one of the nice things is that if you do it from scratch, you get to choose which object it's based off of. So no longer is it just to deals, it's to other pieces of information as well. But the new feature that's in here is just a new layout of the goals here. So you can actually see individual persons, groups, and helping to manage them are all in a single place. It's just an update to managing them within the system. If you have questions about goals and the things you can do with it, I definitely would search the knowledge base articles, and I would go to your goals and try to test it out in creating a goal. And what's really nice is that goals then show up in your reporting. You can actually select an item that says, hey, I want you to, we're doing a comparison of this to this. Also show what our goal is. So if it's a revenue goal, or maybe maybe it's number of contacts you're trying to add, maybe your goal is to add contacts, then you can add that into your report as well to see how you're trending with your goal. If you have more questions about that, definitely reach out to Matthew on our team, and he can talk to you more about that. What maybe areas that we could help you to set that up. Okay. All right, calling. So this is kind of fun. So a lot of people don't know, depending on the account that you have, you can have a number through HubSpot for inbound. One of the challenges that came before with having a number come in through inbound is that it would just come in, and if nobody answered it, if it went to your phone, it just kind of disappeared. And we would have the history of it, but nothing else. Well, that's gone now. HubSpot has added in working hours, and it's added in a voicemail. It's just and I'm going to show you how that works. But the working hours is really great because now you can tell the voicemail what to do based on those working hours. So I'm going to go over, this is my HubSpot number. If anybody called it would say HubSpot, or if I was calling you, it'd say HubSpot Architect. And if I go over to, and by the way, the way that you get to this is under your general settings and calling. So we're going to settings, general calling. This is your number, so it's you as an individual. I can edit it, and I can say this is the name that will display, who it's assigned to, and then my my working hours, which I already set. And then you'll notice here during working hours, if calls are unanswered, send a voicemail, set up voicemail, and then it does this audio version of, I'm sorry, the person you reached isn't available, please leave a message. So I can say, hey, Davey at Paragon is unavailable right now. You've reached him during working hours. You may call him back later, or please leave a voicemail and he'll go back to you shortly, right? If I click on the other one, which is an after hours, which is basically outside my working hours, I could have it say like, hey, you've reached me outside my working hours, but please leave a message and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, okay? This is kind of nice. Now you get to have a voicemail that's left, or they can leave a voicemail. So the next item that's associated with this is actually the calling. So up here we have the calling tab. So it's a little phone up here. It says green, which means I'm available. It says I don't have any active calls. I also had to turn on a little calling app right here in order for this to work. So if this wasn't on, I wouldn't be able to get any calls. So I've got that on, I've got it down, and I'm going to call my own number so you guys can see what it looks like. And I'm hopefully within working hours. This worked earlier. Oh, it's telling me that my call may be recorded right now. And you'll notice my call's coming in from ASDDS. Apparently my name is weird at 770. And I'm going to go ahead and answer this and stop it before I cause too much reverberation. It's logged the call already from ASDDS. Oh, you want to know why it says that? Because in HubSpot, somebody changed my name to ASDDS. So it's a typo. That's where that's coming from. I was like, man, that's not my number. So now I've got that. And if it didn't happen, it would send me like a notification of logged calls and stuff. Did you have something with that?
Kyle has a question in the chat.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and turn him on then.
Davey, thank you. You always know how to turn me on. And in the phone section, when I click on that little phone in the upper right-hand corner, it says, you don't have a HubSpot phone number. Please talk to your account admin. So I am the admin, but so I'm wondering, how do I add my company's phone number so when people call in, we can get, it can add it to that?
So it actually won't use your internal, like your own phone number isn't connected with HubSpot. You'd have to use a third-party app for that. Within HubSpot, you can do a HubSpot calling number. So if you'll notice on the screen here, I've got two numbers. I have my phone number. This is my outbound number when I call sometimes, but it's not an inbound number. This is an inbound and an outbound number. And I just added a phone number and it lets me, oh, sorry, not this one. Oh, I only had like one. I created a HubSpot phone number. Give me a second. I've got too many things in the way. I was able to add a HubSpot phone number. When I added that HubSpot phone number, let me choose an area code, and then it assigned this number to me, this 385.
So, can I ask a question?
Yeah, it's Brenda. Brenda's here with us. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, I'm with UVU.
Awesome.
And so I have a feeling they're not going to let us bypass our regular numbers. So in essence, we wouldn't be able to use this.
You wouldn't be able to use this calling tool, but you could use a third party like AirCall, and which is embedded. It would save the call and record the call and do all the normal things that you do.
No wonder Matt recommended AirCall. I ended up going with another company for our phone system, but
yeah.
So.
No, there's AirCall. There's Ring Central, I think, has a connection. There's
Dial Pad one? Do you know?
It might have an app that's associated with it. What, Aaron? Open phone. Just check the app marketplace or call your vendor and see if they have a connection. A lot of them say, oh yeah, we'll integrate, but that means that they'll integrate at a cost. But you're things that actually have like direct phone connectivity where we'll actually use the HubSpot calling API Because if you do that, then what you do is you get these call records in the system. And the call record in the system then has like, I have an inbound call or an outbound call. And if you're using one of those apps, it will do the same thing. And then
Yeah.
that call itself will now have, you're able to like go through and do coaching with it. You can cut it down. You can add it to, we talked last month about coaching calls and be able to group them together. So if you do like a number of demos or you probably work within a group that answers calls, right? You're like, oh, these are great examples of calls. And so you could group those together for them to listen to and even cut them down to specific parts of those calls that you want them to listen to with the coaching tool. And so, yes, so you have to use a third party and not be able to use the HubSpot one. But you can use the numbers that you do have for any outbound calls. That way, if they come back in, you go directly to the phone that you have at your desk or your cell phone. And it will record, and it will record them. Also, just one other thing to add to that, on the HubSpot app now, it will record any, if you're using HubSpot to call, it's going through your phone, but it will record the call now, which is nice. It won't just go through your phone and you've just got to log in, nothing happens. It actually will record it and bring it back into the app here for you to be able to look at. Great questions. Anything else? Kyle,
No,
anything else?
No, that's the thing. I know we have an integration into HubSpot from Dialpad or whatever, and so it's all connected there. So when we dial out to that phone number, it'll log the call automatically, and then obviously we can provide all the details of like, you know, how the call went and everything else like that.
Yep. So if you can do that, if you can disposition it and stuff, that's really what you want to be able to have, that API that allows you to be able to call and then it records it and puts it back into HubSpot. So, all right. I already went over this, so we're good with the calling. I'm going to go and close these tabs out. Just a couple more items. Guys, it's my email. I'm exposed. I did it on purpose.
Is
So
there anything good there?
no, just a meeting that I have coming up. So this is a new feature in HubSpot. I don't know what it looks like in Office 365. I'm sure there's a tab somewhere that you pull down for it. I'm not a Microsoft guy or Microsoft 365. Haven't used it in like 10 years. So, but it will have a feature when you do upload it. But it's available in Gmail and Office 365, and that is before, when you would receive an email or if you sent an email out and you forgot to log it. So on mine, typically when I create a call, I have it so that the log button isn't always checked. I can retroactively go and add it now. This is brand new. I can click on the drop down and I can say, hey, add it and add it to these records, right? So it's part of the never log. And then I can save it. And now this email will get recorded to HubSpot. If I was to respond to this, I have a log now button. Mine's unchecked, but HubSpot now in a second update feature will allow me to find custom objects. So I don't know if I can find, but you'll notice it says contacts here and it says companies. And if there was a custom object, it would allow me to log it to a custom object now. That's the new feature. I just don't have, let's see. Companies deals. It's not showing it on here, but that's supposed to be the new update. Maybe I didn't get the update. But if I sent this off to Travis here, thanks. And I didn't check this log button and I go ahead and send it. I now have log email to HubSpot and I can come in and make sure that it gets logged to Travis. I'll go ahead and save it. Pretty cool feature. Be honest with you, this is something I wanted from like day one. And it finally came out. So, because I sometimes forget to log my emails, and this allows me now to log those emails where I want them. So, all right. Oh, getting down to the wire here. All right. So this is a marketing, this is like a landing page. So if you go into like a marketing landing page, if you go into a website page, if you go into an email, there's now a new feature for, let me pause for a second. Sorry. I jumped really fast through that last part. Were there any questions about that came up? Or questions from you all here?
No, but
Okay, you're okay.
This has been
Thank you. The last item is the approvals. So in HubSpot, now when you look at some of this content information where you can write comments and tasks and look at your calendar, you now have a new approval area. So you can now request approval. This is nice where you can say, hey, before I publish this, I'm going to get somebody to check off that I did it right. This is really good for you marketers or marketing assistants who are like, I want my boss to say that this is okay before I publish it. And that they give me the rubber stamp that I'm good versus asking them, they're like, yeah, I'm sure it's okay. And then coming back to you and being like, hey, what did you do? Now you can be like, no, you approved it. You actually have something I'd like to stand on. So I'm going to request an approval. I'm going to check who I want to approve it. So I'm going to send it to Alyssa and I'm going to say, check this out for approval. And then I can request approval and then Alyssa will get that approval and it will come back in and she'll mark that it's approved. And if I want, I can reassign it, who's the one who's actually requesting it. And now all my content can be tracked on who's approving and when, and not just the last person that touched it, right? We always seem to put blame or question who touched it last. Now we don't have to do that. We can actually have a mechanism to track who said yes. Okay, those are my HubSpot updates. Now there are probably about a half dozen more, but they're so small. I didn't want to include them. For example, call to action CTAs are now HTML versus an image. So, but we'll send out all the updates in a nice little slide deck that you guys can see, be able to use, plus this recording, of course. So we kind of go back then to our little slideshow here. So we've done the hands-on, we talked about current updates. That's everything we had for the hands-on before we get into this navbar promo and demo. Are there any questions for anybody or thoughts, comments? Speak now or forever hold your peace. We're going to be done a little bit earlier than normal, but which is good. I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to Mr. Joshua Beatty to talk to you guys about this awesome tool that we have. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing on my side and let him share how to actually use this.
Hey, hello, everybody. I'm Josh here with Paragon, and I'm just going to do a quick demo and go over our Hub Navbar application that will let you guys customize your navigation bar. So up here, you can see I'm in a test portal that I've created here, and I have two extra navigation bars here. I have this one that is called Factories with these two drop downs, and I have this one called Templates. And these are both custom made by the application, and I was able to really quickly go ahead and set it up. So just kind of to go over a quick little use case of like why you might want this is, if you're very often have custom objects set up, it might be a little annoying to always have to go up in contacts, custom objects, and select which one you want to go to, especially if you have maybe more than two, if you're like, have like 5 or 6. Now you can just get the ones you need and put them right directly in your navigation bar like this.
Can't you also do it for any other like link of places you're trying to go to in
Yep.
the system, right? So like if you maybe there's a specific dashboard or report you go to, or
Yeah, so you can link to anywhere you want. So to demonstrate that, I also have this one called Templates here. If I click on this one just goes to a specific Google Drive folder. So maybe you have some folder that has something that you always need, or you want to have some specific page within HubSpot, you can just link to it directly right here.
cool.
And if I come up here to the application, you can see it's really easy to customize. I can just go ahead and add a new item. And maybe I want this item to go to google.com because I just really want to go there all the time. And if I just go ahead and refresh the page, I just have that new item just like that. And it's really easy to customize. I can go ahead and reorder items, or maybe I want this one to be a drop-down and add sub items there. And if I refresh the page, you'll see that those items just appear in the new order.
And you broke it.
love live debugging.
There you go.
There you go. And you can see the new items appear just like that. So if you guys want to try this out for yourself, you can go ahead and head on over to apps.paragon.com, and you'll go ahead and create an account. And after you create an account, you'll be asked to sign in, and that'll take you to this dashboard page, where if you go ahead and purchase your keys, you'll be able to purchase keys that will take you to this checkout page, and you'll be able to add the promo code HandsOn August, all one word, and that'll go ahead and give you your first month off once you click apply. Now, once you check out, it'll take you to this key management page where you will be able to copy this key and go ahead and open up the extension, and there'll be a section at the bottom that'll look just like this, where you can paste in your key and name this install, and it'll be active. And then you can go ahead and add in items, There's a little tutorial here for some information about how to use it. And there are links to the Chrome extension directly on this page. So all you need to do is go ahead and go to apps.paragon.com, go ahead, install the extension, purchase the key. First one's completely free. Once again, that code is HandsOn HubSpot.
Awesome. And so do we have to pay for the actual extension when I go to the Chrome store?
No. So the Chrome extension, so when you go to the Chrome store, you'll just go ahead and click add to Chrome. And then once again, when you go to the checkout link, it'll be completely free. You'll just add in that code HandsOn August.
Okay. Awesome. So we're giving this away to you guys for a month. Try it out. If there's some, it doesn't matter if you have custom objects or not, you can still try it out and share it with your friends. I don't care if you proliferate it to whoever you want. It's only good for a month. So, and then if you want to talk about some of our annual stuff, it's pretty good. For large organizations and organizations that are using custom objects, it's phenomenal. So coming back over here then. So really appreciate that. Josh, thank you so much for sharing that. And we'll dump in the chat real quick too on how you can get that. And then the last thing that I want to share with you all is that Inbound is coming up. And Inbound is going to be in September. If anybody's interested, we actually have a couple of, there's a few of us that aren't going to be able to make it. We do have some tickets and we're kind of having a little bit of a fire sale to get rid of them because it's so close. So if you're interested in going to Boston, it will be the 6th through the 9th, right? Yeah, 6th through the 8th, sorry. 6th through the 8th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in September. And if you're a partner, of course, starts the day before, you'd know that, but come into Boston. It's in downtown, it's the Boston Convention Center. It's pretty amazing. You hear from some amazing speakers like Dharmesh and Yamini talking about the future of HubSpot and how it's growing. They will talk about all the newest product spotlight items. We've got a preview into those actually earlier this week to see some of the other cool things that are coming out. It's pretty, I'm going to use a 90s term, it's pretty rad. Yeah, so we're excited for it. So if you're interested in the tickets, let us know and we'll work something out for you. So really appreciate everybody joining us today. Are there any final questions from anybody? Okay, awesome. We really appreciate everybody joining. And if you need help again with Paragon, there's a link, I think, in the chat that we put in, right? You can reach out to Matthew on our team and he can help you with any additional questions you have or areas that you want to know about with HubSpot. We'd love to help you out. And we will see you guys next month talking about the even bigger inbound stuff. And we might even do, I think we'll do a giveaway next month, Melissa, because we'll bring back some stuff from Boston and I'll probably do some inbound giveaways next month. So please come to that update meeting. It'll be pretty awesome. We look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks again for joining us today. And yeah, happy HubSpotting.